Welcome to Firearms of America. Today, as you guys can see, I have this plastic bag in front of me. The reason I have it is because the boots that I'm about to review do not come in a normal box. They come in a plastic bag. And the reason they do is because these are the cheapest boots on Amazon that you can find. Amazon Essentials hiking boots. Yes, and the only reason why I'm doing this review is because I have been requested to do it so many times on this channel. So here you guys go. Finally, I have the cheapest boots on Amazon. Only $20. $20. There are three options available. The link is in the description below. Overall, I have to say, for $20, I expect it to be way worse, and these are actually not that bad at all. So, if you're interested to see why they are not that bad at all, let's get into the review. So, let's start with the review. As some of you already know, this review is specifically for my Ultimate Survival boots section. Basically, if these were, for whatever reason, the last boots that you put on and you had to leave your house, run, walk for extended periods of time, climb, I don't know, fight, do whatever that's necessary to survive. Would these be good? Or would these be bad? For $20? Let's find out. So, how do we make the judgment? We'll make the judgment based on 8 different criteria. Let's begin. Criteria number 1, the comfort level. And in order to test the comfort level of all the boots on this channel, that I review on this channel, I do a 3-mile run and then a 5-mile walk without stopping, no pauses in between. Sometimes it's really hard, but I still try not to stop. And I continue wearing them for the rest of the day. The total wear time is between 7 and 8 hours. And surprisingly, for $20, you actually do get pretty decent comfort level of these boots. There are a few factors, of course, that contribute to that comfort. Let's start with the very first one, the weight. And these boots are, this is size 10, 19.3, excellent weight, just below that 20-ounce mark, which I always say, if you want something that feels lightweight on your feet, especially if you're running or walking for extended periods of time, you want something under 20 ounce. And these are just under 20 ounce. Great. All right, there are some other factors that contribute to the comfort level. Of course, one of them is the flexibility of the bottom sole, especially important whenever you're running. And as you can see, extremely flexible. So you can run in these boots properly without putting any stress on your ankles, without putting any stress on your knees. And because they're lightweight, you can run pretty sufficient distances if you're a good runner. Pretty good. All right, let's move on to the inner sole. That's another factor that usually contributes to the comfort level. And the inner sole here is bad because it is actually got stuck, and as you can see, went bad. So not the greatest inner sole, not much of the cushioning here either at all. And when you remove the inner sole, there is really not much of anything that gives you any kind of extra protection from the impact, especially whenever you're running. That would be important, but here there's nothing. So inner sole, not very good, although because the bottom sole is so soft and flexible, you kind of do get a little bit of the impact protection from that. But nevertheless, don't expect this inner sole to last, considering how cheaply and horribly it is made. Again, not really a complaint considering these are only $20. But if you replace this inner sole with something a little bit more decent, that might not actually be that bad. But there are a few other things that I wanted to mention whenever it comes to the comfort level. Of course, the padding, right? You do have sufficient amount of padding on the tongue. It's very soft, pretty good. Sufficient amount of padding here in the shaft. And throughout the boot, because the material is so soft, you don't really need much padding at all because it is so soft. And overall, it does feel very comfortable, surprisingly. So pretty good. Not too bad at all. Alrighty, so done with the comfort level. Let's move on to the criteria number 2, proofing and protection. Now, not much to say about proofing. These are not waterproof. I don't know why you would expect waterproof boots for $20, but Just say, not waterproof. Whenever it comes to the protection, not much here as well. The toe is very soft, although, interestingly, I honestly did not expect that. But Amazon Essentials implemented about an inch and a half of reinforcement here in the toe. So it's not that soft throughout the whole thing. At the toe, you do have a little bit of that reinforcement, which is good, especially if you're hiking through a rocky road and a small rock falls. That will give you sufficient amount of protection. Pretty good job. Of course, you do have, because this is a mid-sized boot, you do have some protection in the ankles with this padding, and your heel is nicely reinforced with this tough fabric, which I kind of wish was implemented here as well to give you more protection in the toe box. But overall, not too bad whenever it comes to protection compared to any other kind of boot, any kind of hiking boot similar to this one, in a mid-size type of range. Let's move on to the criteria number 3, quality and the design features. Of course, quality-wise, don't expect much from these boots. They're only $20. As you can see, the inner sole already didn't last. This is the brand new boot. This is not the boot that I was running in, but it already did not last. Not a huge deal. Like I said, if I were buying this, I would probably replace the inner sole, but don't have high expectations of these whenever it comes to the quality. But at the end of the day, they're only $20. And whenever it comes to the design features, usually here I talk about the lacing system, and lacing system here is surprisingly very good. You do get metal hardware, 4 close hooks, which with good strings that slide through very easily, pretty good, and then 2 pairs of open hooks, which do work very well and are very applicable for any kind of hiking scenario. So if you talk to anybody really who does hiking more or less seriously, they will say that having open hooks at the top usually is a good thing, because you want to be able to quickly release the tension if you're going down the hill or up the hill, and that's where the open hooks, they come into play. Pretty good. Overall, kind of surprising, honestly, that this is the kind of hardware that I implemented. But let's move on to the criteria number 4. Probably my favorite part about this boot. The outsole traction and stability. Check it out, alright? $20 boot. This is fantastic outsole for a $20 freaking boot. Honestly, this is great. This is a perfect balance between aggression and flatness. It handles any kind of freaking surface you throw at it. And whenever I do my run, whenever I do my walk, I do it through the variety of different surfaces, starting on normal asphalt, tarmac, then going into the sand, dry sand, dry grass, wet grass, rocky road, trail surface, marble and tile, so variety of different surfaces. And whenever I review my hiking boots, not the hiking boots, the winter boots, I try to test them in the snow and ice as well. But because these are not winter boots just for, definitely not any kind of winter scenario, I did not test them in the cold weather or snow and ice. But we'll come back to that later. Outsole. Fantastic outsole. Really good. Handles literally anything you throw at it. Even the shiny surfaces like marble and tile, flat shiny surfaces. Very good outsole. The only thing is that the rubber that they implemented here is a little bit on the softer, so whenever you're running through stuff like rocky road, you do feel a little bit of the rocks, and this will not protect you from any kind of penetration because this rubber is on the softer side. But I think if they implemented harder rubber here, I think it would have been just as good as a high-end boot, like for example Salomon, just because of the design. Design of this outsole is fantastic. For $20, I did not expect anything close to this freaking good. I'm amazed, really. Alrighty, let's move on to the criteria number 5, temperature. Now, like I said, these are not in any way winter scenario boots. First of all, they're not waterproof. Second of all, there is no insulation. Keep that in mind. But in the hot temperatures, they're actually surprisingly breathable. They feel light. My feet did not overheat even after running, so great job there with the, temperature, Amazon Essentials. Let's move on to the criteria number 6, sizing. They are definitely true to the size. Perfect sizing without any problems. Usually whenever it comes to buying boots, I always recommend getting half a size bigger because you want to have a little bit of that extra space in the toe box. It will help you in your hiking situation, definitely, especially whenever you're going downhill. You don't want your toe smashing into the front of the toe box. And yes, these are definitely true to the size. I got the size 10, which is half a size bigger than my normal shoe size, and I did get a little bit of that extra space. Perfect, no problems there at all. Let's move on to the criteria number 7, balance of application. Now, if this really were your ultimate survival boots and something bad happened, would they be good for your survival? Would you survive in them? Probably, if you're a good survival type of person. Probably not, because these are not really that good of a quality. I don't know how long they're going to last. If you guys have experience with them, drop that in the comments below, because everybody uses boots differently. So whenever it comes to lastingness of the boots, long lastingness, is there a word like that? But anyway, you get the point. Whenever it comes to that, it's always kind of personalized, whether you use them every single day and you walk in them for 10 miles, or you use them once a year and you walk only for 1 mile. It really depends on that. But let me know in the comments below what your experience is, if you do have experience with these boots. In my opinion, they're not gonna last because of the quality, because of the build quality, because of kind of flimsiness here and there, especially with the outsole. I mean, the design of it is fantastic, but whenever it comes to the materials that they use, this is where I have a little bit of a doubt, because they're only $20. Again, wouldn't expect anything more than that, but I honestly really expected less. So yeah. And the last criterion number 8, price, which we've been talking about throughout the whole freaking review. They're only $20. $21, all right? Okay, $21.10. I think what you're getting in these boots for $21 is really very, very impressive. I don't know how they did it, but it really is pretty good option for $21 if you don't want to spend anything more than that. There are 3 colors that are available. Like I said, the Amazon link is in the description below. Let me know, guys, in the comments below what you think about this boot. Would you consider it as your hiking boot? Would you consider it as your survival boot? Yeah. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this review. If you have any requests, even if it's something like this, hey, drop them in the comments below. I always look out for those, and if I come across the products, I try to review them as a priority. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. This was Firearms of America. I'll see you guys in the next video.